I never thought a piece of paper could destroy everything I loved. But when I scratched off that final silver panel and saw those numbers, I didn't realize I was holding a grenade with the pin already pulled. My name is Anne, and I'm 53 years old. For the past 28 years, I've worked as a nursing supervisor at County General Hospital. My shifts are long, my feet always hurt, and I've spent more birthdays in scrubs than I care to count. But I loved my work. I loved my patients, and I loved my family. Or at least, I thought I did. It was a Tuesday morning in March when everything changed. I remember because Tuesdays were always my grocery days. The day I'd stop at the corner store on Maple Street before heading home. The same store I'd been going to for 15 years. Mr. Chen, who owned it, always had a smile ready and asked about my son, Michael.
That morning was gray and drizzling, the kind of weather that seeps into your bones. I'd just finished a double shift, covering for a colleague whose daughter was sick. I was exhausted, my lower back screaming, and all I wanted was to get home, take a hot shower, and sleep for the next 12 hours. But as I was paying for my groceries, the usual things, bread, milk, some chicken breasts for dinner, Mr. Chen smiled at me and said what he always said. "Feeling lucky today, Anne? Powerball's up to 40 million. I usually said no. I usually just smiled and shook my head. Lottery tickets were for people with hope to spare, and after years of just getting by, I'd learned not to waste money on dreams. But that day, something in me said yes.
Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the fact that my car had just needed $800 in repairs I couldn't really afford. Maybe it was because my 54th birthday was coming up in 2 weeks, and I'd been feeling the weight of all those years, all those shifts, all those sacrifices. "Sure," I heard myself say. "Why not? Give me a scratch off, the $5 one." Mr. Chen handed me a ticket with a picture of gold coins on it. $1 Million Payday, it was called. I tucked it into my purse without looking at it and drove home through the rain. I lived alone in a small 2-bedroom house on the east side of town. My husband, Robert, had passed away from a heart attack 6 years earlier. It had been sudden, devastating. One moment he was laughing at something on TV, the next moment he was clutching his chest, and then he was gone. Our son Michael was 26 now, living 3 states away, building his own life as a software engineer. We talked on Sundays, mostly, sometimes Wednesdays. The house felt empty without Robert. It always did. I set my groceries on the kitchen counter and stood there for a moment, looking at the refrigerator covered in old photos held up by magnets. Robert and me on our wedding day, Michael as a baby. Family reunions from years ago, everyone smiling, arms around each other. I missed those days. I missed when family meant something uncomplicated. I made myself a cup of tea and sat at the kitchen table. That's when I remembered the lottery ticket. I pulled it out of my purse, found a quarter, and started scratching. The first 2 panels showed nothing, just random numbers that didn't match. The third panel made my hand pause. 3 matching symbols. The fourth panel, 3 more matching symbols. My heart started beating faster. The fifth panel, match. Sixth, match. My hands were shaking now. The silver dust from the ticket was getting all over the table, all over my fingers. 7th panel, match. 8th, match. I couldn't breathe. I literally could not catch my breath. The last panel seemed to take forever to scratch off, my quarters slipping, my hands trembling so badly I could barely control them. And then I saw it. $1 million. I had won $1 million. I stared at that ticket for what must have been 20 minutes. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I kept blinking, expecting the numbers to change, expecting to wake up from some exhausted hallucination. But they didn't change. I'd won. The first person I called was Michael. My hands were still shaking so badly I could barely dial. "Mom?" He answered on the third ring. "Everything okay? You never call on Tuesdays." "Michael, I think I just won the lottery." There was a pause. "What?" "A scratch-off. I bought a scratch-off at Mr. Chen's store, and I think I won $1 million. I could hear him moving, probably sitting up wherever he was. "Mom, are you serious? Have you checked it? Are you sure? I'm looking at it right now. All the numbers match. It says $1 million right here." Michael let out a sound that was half laugh, half shout. "Oh my God, Mom, oh my God, don't move, don't do anything. Check the lottery website, make sure it's real. Take pictures of it, front and back." We stayed on the phone for an hour while I did everything he told me to do. I checked the website. The ticket was legitimate. The numbers matched. I took photos from every angle. I put the ticket in a plastic bag, then in an envelope, then in my fire safe. It was real. I had won $1 million. "Mom, you have to be careful," Michael said, his voice serious now. "Don't tell anyone yet, not until you claim it and talk to a lawyer and a financial advisor. Money changes people. You need to protect yourself first." I laughed, feeling giddy and strange. "Michael, it's family. They'll be happy for me." "Mom, I'm serious. Please, just wait a few days. Get your ducks in a row first." But I didn't listen. How could I? This was the best thing that had ever happened to me. After years of struggling, of worrying about bills, of postponing my own happiness to make sure everyone else was taken care of, I'd finally caught a break. I wanted to share it. I wanted my family to celebrate with me. So that night, I called my sister, Patricia. Patricia was 2 years younger than me, 51, and we'd always been close. Growing up, we'd shared everything: clothes, secrets, dreams. She lived about 40 minutes away with her husband, Doug, and their 2 kids, both in their 20s now. We talked at least twice a week, saw each other for holidays and birthdays. "Patty," I said when she answered, using the nickname I'd called her since we were kids. "You're never going to believe what happened." "What? Are you okay? You sound weird." "I won the lottery." Silence. "Patty, did you hear me?" "You won the lottery," she repeated slowly. "How much?" $1 million. A scratch-off ticket. Can you believe it?" Another pause. Longer this time. "And that's incredible. Oh my God, that's amazing." But something in her voice was off. It wasn't the excitement I'd expected. It was something else. Something careful. Something measured. I should have paid attention to that pause. I should have heard what wasn't being said in that silence. But I was too caught up in my own happiness, too eager to share this moment with someone who I thought would understand. "I want to have everyone over this weekend," I said, pushing past the strange feeling in my chest. "A family dinner. To celebrate. I'll make that lasagna everyone loves. We can all be together." "Of course," Patricia said, her voice warmer now, but still with that note I couldn't quite place. "Of course. Saturday night, I'll bring dessert. This is just, wow, Anne, this is really happening." We talked for a few more minutes, but that strange note in her voice never quite left. When I hung up, I told myself I was imagining things. I was tired. I was overwhelmed. Of course Patricia was happy for me. We were sisters. We'd been through everything together. I called my brother David next. He lived in town, worked in construction, and had 3 kids, all teenagers. He'd always been the fun uncle, the one who told jokes at family dinners and helped me fix things around the house after Robert died. When my kitchen sink broke 2 years ago, he came over on a Sunday morning and spent 4 hours fixing it, refusing to let me pay him. "Annie,"
he answered, using his nickname for me. "What's going on?" I told him about the ticket, about the win. His reaction was immediate and loud. "Are you kidding me? Holy crap, Anne! That's incredible! That's absolutely incredible. We need to celebrate, we need to have a party. This is the best news I've heard in years." His enthusiasm felt genuine, felt right. I smiled, feeling the warmth spread through my chest. This was what I'd wanted. This was family. "I'm having everyone over Saturday night," I said. "Dinner at my place. Can you and Linda and the kids come?" "Are you kidding? We wouldn't miss it for the world. This is amazing, Anne. You deserve this. After everything you've been through, after all those years working yourself to the bone, you really deserve this." Those words, "you deserve this," they meant everything to me in that moment. They felt like validation for all those double shifts, all those sacrifices, all those years of putting everyone else first. I didn't know yet that those same words would be used against me like weapons in just a few days. I called a few cousins after that. My Aunt Marie, my late mother's sister, who was 78 and living in a retirement community. My cousin Jennifer, who I'd grown up with, who was like another sister to me. We'd been in each other's weddings. Our kids had grown up together. When her husband Mark had his surgery last year, I'd driven down to help her for a week, cooking meals and cleaning her house so she could focus on being at the hospital. Everyone said the same things. "Congratulations. That's wonderful. You deserve it. We're so happy for you." But looking back now, I should have heard what wasn't being said. I should have noticed the pauses, the slight hesitation before the congratulations, the way voices shifted when they asked how much, the calculations happening in the silences. But I was too happy to notice, too relieved, too grateful that something good was finally happening after years of just scraping by. The next few days passed in a blur of excitement and anxiety. I couldn't sleep. I kept getting up in the middle of the night to check my fire safe, to make sure the ticket was still there, to prove to myself this was really happening. I started making lists, things I needed to do, bills I could pay off, repairs the house needed. I thought about the vacation I could take, the first real vacation I'd had in years. Maybe I'd go somewhere warm, somewhere I could sit on a beach and not think about anything. I thought about retiring early. My knees ached every day now. My back was a constant problem. I loved nursing, but my body was telling me it was time to stop. With this money, I could actually do it. I could leave with dignity instead of working until I physically couldn't anymore. On Wednesday morning, the day after I'd told everyone, I got a text from Patricia. Just a simple, "Good morning, still processing your amazing news." It seemed innocent enough, normal even. But then, an hour later, another text. "Hey, quick question. Have you thought about what you're going to do with the money? Just curious." Then David called during my lunch break at work. "Hey sis, just checking in. Have you been to the lottery office yet?" "Not yet," I said, sitting in the break room with my sad sandwich. "I'm going on Monday. I wanted to take some time to think first." Sure. Makes sense. Hey, Linda and I were talking last night. We're just so excited for you. This is going to change your life." "I hope so," I said, smiling despite my exhaustion. "Listen, I don't want to be pushy or anything, but I was thinking, once you get the money, we should sit down and talk about your options. You know, financial planning stuff. Linda's brother is a financial advisor. He could help you invest it wisely." "That's nice of you to offer, but Michael's already helping me find someone." There was a pause, just a beat, but I noticed it. "Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I just thought, family would be better. Someone who really cares about your best interests." After we hung up, I sat there staring at my half-eaten sandwich, feeling uneasy. Something about the conversation felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on what. That afternoon, I got an email from Jennifer. The subject line read, "So happy for you." The email was long, chatty, asking about my day, my plans for the weekend, and then at the end, By the way, I've been doing some research on lottery winnings. Did you know you can set up trusts for family members? It's a great way to help people you love while also getting tax benefits. Just thought you might want to know. Let me know if you want me to send you some articles I found. I stared at that email for a long time. Jennifer had done research on lottery winnings in the day and a half since I told her. That evening, Patricia called. Hey, I was just thinking about Saturday. What can I bring besides dessert? Do you need anything? No, I've got it covered. Thanks, though.
Okay, good. Listen, I wanted to run something by you. Nothing big. But I was thinking for the dinner, maybe we should make it a little more special. Like, we could all go around and talk about what we'd do if we won the lottery. You know, make it fun and celebratory. What do you think? My stomach tightened. I don't know, Patty. I'd rather just have a normal dinner. Keep it low-key. Oh, sure. I just thought it might be fun. But whatever you want, it's your celebration. On Thursday, 2 days before the dinner, Patricia called me again. Hey, she said, her voice bright. I was thinking about Saturday. What time do you want us there? 6 would be great, I said. That gives me time to get everything ready. Perfect. Listen, I told Doug about the win, and we've been talking. We're just so happy for you, Anne. This is such a big deal.
I'm still processing it, honestly. I can imagine. Hey, can I ask you something? And don't feel like you have to answer right now. But Doug and I have been dealing with some financial stress. Nothing major, just the usual stuff. Credit cards, Emma's student loans. And we were wondering if maybe, once you get the money sorted out, you might be able to help us with some of it. Not a lot. Maybe just enough to get us out from under the credit card debt. It's about $20,000. My stomach clenched. I haven't really thought about. No, of course, Patricia interrupted quickly. Like I said, don't answer now. Just think about it. We're a family, and I know you'd want to help if you could. We can talk about it more on Saturday.
She changed the subject before I could respond, chatting about Emma's job and the weather and what dessert she was going to bring. But after we hung up, I sat there feeling unsettled. $20,000. Just like that. Casual, like she was asking to borrow a cup of sugar. I tried to shake off the feeling. Patricia was my sister. Of course she'd need help sometimes, and I'd always helped family when I could. But something about it felt wrong. The timing, the casualness, the assumption that of course I would say yes. That night, David texted me. Hey sis, can we talk before Saturday? Something I want to run by you. I called him back, my stomach already tight.
Annie, hey, thanks for calling back. Listen, I'll cut right to it. Linda and I have been talking about the kids' college funds. We're trying to save, but with 3 of them, it's just overwhelming. And I was thinking, with your lottery win, maybe you could help us out. Not pay for all of it, but maybe contribute. Split it with us. We figure we need about $100,000 total for all 3 kids. So if you could do 50, that would be huge. $50,000. David, that's a lot of money. I know. But Anne, you have $1 million. Well, after taxes, probably $600,000 or $700,000. $50,000 is less than 10%. And it's for your nieces and nephew, for their education, their future. I understand, but I haven't even claimed the ticket yet. I haven't talked to a financial advisor or figured out what I'm doing with it. Sure, I get that. Just think about it, okay? We can talk more on Saturday. I just wanted to plant the seed. After we hung up, I sat in my dark living room, feeling like the walls were closing in. Patricia wanted $20,000. David wanted $50,000. And I hadn't even claimed the money yet. It's hard. On Friday morning, I got a voicemail from Jennifer. Hey Anne, it's me. Listen, I don't want to be awkward about this, but I wanted to talk to you before Saturday about Mark's medical bills. We're drowning, Anne. The surgery last year cost so much more than we expected, even with insurance. We're looking at about $130,000 in debt. I know it's a lot, But I was thinking, and please don't take this the wrong way, but maybe you could help us. Not as a gift necessarily. We could sign a promissory note, pay you back over time. But we need help now, and you're in a position to give it. Can you call me back? I really need to talk to you about this. $130,000. I sat on my couch, staring at my phone, trying to process what was happening.
In 3 days, my family had asked me for $200,000, and I hadn't even claimed the lottery ticket yet. I called Michael. "Mom, it's early. Are you okay?" "Patricia and David have both asked me for money," I said, my voice shaking. "Patricia wants $20,000, David wants $50,000, and Jennifer just left a voicemail asking for $130,000. And they're all acting like it's already decided, like of course I'm going to give it to them." Michael was quiet for a moment. "What did you tell them?" "I said I needed to think about it." "But Michael, they're family. Patricia helped me so much after your dad died. David fixed my sink and my porch stairs. Jennifer, I was there for her during Mark's surgery. They've been there for me." "Mom, have they? Or have you been there for them?" "What do you mean?"
I mean, when's the last time Patricia helped you with something without you having to ask 3 times? When's the last time David offered to help without you having to pay him back in some other way? You always talk about what you've done for them. I never hear about what they've done for you. I wanted to argue, but the words stuck in my throat. Because he was right. When I thought about it, really thought about it, most of the help in our relationships flowed one direction, from me to them. "I still think you should wait," Michael said gently. "Don't make any promises at this dinner. Just celebrate. If they bring it up, tell them you need time. Protect yourself first, Mom, please." "I will," I promised.
But I already knew I probably wouldn't, because saying no to family felt impossible. It felt cruel. It felt like betraying everything I'd been raised to believe about loyalty and love and obligation. Friday afternoon, I got a text from Sarah Thompson, my cousin. "Hey Anne, heard the amazing news. Congrats. Jim and I would love to see you at dinner tomorrow. Hope you don't mind that Patricia invited us. Can't wait to celebrate with you." Patricia had invited the Thompsons. I hadn't even thought about inviting them, though we saw each other occasionally at family events. Why would Patricia invite them without asking me first? Unless she wanted more people there, more people to witness whatever she was planning. That evening, I tried calling Patricia to ask about it, but she didn't answer. She texted back an hour later. "Sorry, busy with dinner prep. See you tomorrow." So excited. But this is hard. I spent Friday night lying awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. I kept telling myself I was being paranoid, that my family loved me, that they wouldn't use me, that this was all just unfortunate timing, everyone asking at once, everyone dealing with their own stress. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. Saturday came faster than I expected. I spent the morning cleaning my house, shopping for ingredients, making sure everything was perfect. I bought good wine, the kind I normally couldn't afford. I bought fresh flowers for the table, yellow tulips, my mother's favorite. I even bought a new dress, navy blue with small white flowers on it. Nothing too fancy, but something that made me feel special. I felt alive in a way I hadn't felt in years. Despite the requests for money, despite the growing anxiety in my chest, I was still excited. This was my family. We'd work through whatever awkwardness there was. We loved each other. That's what mattered. Saturday afternoon, I made my lasagna, the recipe my mother had taught me when I was 15. Layer a layer, the way she'd shown me. Ricotta mixed with eggs and herbs, homemade tomato sauce that had been simmering since morning, the good mozzarella from the Italian deli across town. I made garlic bread. I made a salad with that special dressing everyone always asked for.
The house smelled like home, like love, like all those good memories I've been holding on to for so long. I set the table with my mother's dishes, the ones she'd given me when I got married. I lit candles. I put on soft music. Everything looked perfect.
It's hard. I didn't know I was preparing for a funeral. People started arriving around 6. Patricia and Doug came first with their daughter, Emma, who was 22 and working as a teacher's aide while finishing her degree. Patricia hugged me, tight and long, and when she pulled back, her eyes were wet. "I'm so happy for you," she said. "I really am." And in that moment, I believed her. I wanted to believe her. David and his wife Linda arrived next with their 3 teenagers in tow. David was carrying a bottle of champagne, grinning from ear to ear. "For the millionaire," he announced, sweeping me into a hug that lifted me off my feet. His kids hugged me too. Tyler, who was 17, Madison, who was 15, and Jake, the baby at 13. They were good kids. I'd babysat them when they were little. I'd been to their soccer games and school plays. I loved them.
My cousin Jennifer arrived with her husband, Mark. She brought flowers and a card. "We're so proud of you," she said, kissing my cheek. But her smile seemed strained, tight. Aunt Marie came, walking slowly but with a huge smile on her face. I'd picked her up from her retirement home because she couldn't drive anymore. She squeezed my hand and said, "Your mother would be so happy for you, honey." A few minutes later, the Thompsons arrived, Sarah and Jim, who I'd grown up with but hadn't seen in months. Sarah hugged me and said, "This is so exciting, Anne. We're so happy for you." But as I closed the door behind them, I caught Patricia and David exchanging a look, a knowing look, like they'd planned something. By 6:30, my small house was full of family, full of noise and laughter and the smell of good food. This was it. This was what I'd wanted.
We ate dinner together, crowded around my dining room table and the extra folding table I'd set up in the living room. People were talking over each other, telling stories, laughing. David told an elaborate story about a job site mishap that had everyone in stitches. Jennifer's husband, Mark, was debating sports with Jim. The teenagers were on their phones, but participating when addressed. It felt normal. It felt right. Someone made a toast to me, and everyone raised their glasses. I felt tears in my eyes. "Thank you," I said, my voice catching. "Thank you all for being here. You know, this money is amazing, but what really matters is family. You all matter. I want you to know that. Through everything, through losing Robert, through all the hard years, you've been my anchor, my reason to keep going. I love you all so much."
Everyone smiled. Everyone nodded. There were a few tears, a few "we love you too" responses. But I noticed Patricia wasn't quite meeting my eyes. I noticed Linda, David's wife, kept glancing at David with a look I couldn't quite read. I noticed Jennifer's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. I noticed Sarah Thompson was watching me with an expression I couldn't decipher, almost calculating. But I pushed those observations away. I was being paranoid. I was reading into things that weren't there. After dinner, we moved into the living room. I served coffee and the tiramisu Patricia had brought. David was telling a story about something that had happened on a job site, making everyone laugh. Tyler, his oldest son, was asking me about nursing school, saying he was thinking about healthcare as a career. Emma was showing me pictures on her phone of her classroom. It felt normal. It felt right. And then Patricia cleared her throat. The room didn't go completely silent, but something shifted, like everyone had been waiting for this moment, like they'd all been holding their breath. "Anne," she said, her voice cutting through the conversation, "can I talk to you for a minute, in private?" Something cold settled in my stomach, the kind of cold that comes from instinct, from some primitive part of your brain that knows when danger is near. "Of course," I said, trying to keep my voice light. "Let's go to the kitchen." We walked into the kitchen, and Patricia closed the door behind us.
She turned to face me, and I saw something in her expression I'd never seen before. Something hard, something that made me take a step back. "What's wrong?" I asked. Patricia took a deep breath. "I've been thinking about this all week, about the money, about what's fair. And I think you need to hear something." "Okay," I said slowly, my heart already starting to pound. "You remember when Mom and Dad died, 13 years ago?" Of course I remembered. Our parents had died in a car accident on a rainy November night, sudden and terrible. A truck driver had fallen asleep at the wheel, crossed the median, hit them head on. They died instantly. At least that's what the police told us. It was the worst time of my life, worse even than losing Robert, because it was so sudden, so senseless. "Yes," I said. "What about it?" "You remember that I was the one who handled everything, the funeral arrangements, the estate, settling all their affairs." "Yes, and we were grateful. It was a hard time for all of us."
Patricia's jaw tightened. "It was more than hard, Anne. It was impossible. And you and David weren't there. You were dealing with Robert's business problems, that whole mess with his partner embezzling money. And David was going through his divorce from his first wife. I did everything alone." I felt defensive rising in my chest. "Patty, we were all grieving. We all did what we could. I spent months settling their estate. Months. And when it was done, when we split the inheritance 3 ways, it was $50,000 each. Do you remember that?" "Of course I remember." "What you don't remember is that I spent almost $15,000 of my own money handling everything. Lawyer fees that insurance didn't cover, estate fees, flying back and forth to deal with the house in Florida, the one they'd bought for retirement, storage costs for all their belongings while we figured out what to do with everything, the cost of having their car towed and dealt with after the accident. I never asked you and David to pay me back. I just took it as my responsibility as the oldest daughter, as the one who had to step up when no one else would." I stared at her. "Patricia, I never knew you spent that much. You never told me. If you had..." "I didn't tell you because I didn't want to burden you. You were dealing with Robert's business collapsing. You were working double shifts trying to keep your house. I didn't want to add to your stress. But now..." She paused, meeting my eyes finally. "Now you have money, real money, and I think it's only fair that you pay me back for what I spent. $15,000. It's the right thing to do. It's what's owed to me." I felt like I'd been slapped. My ears were ringing. "You want me to give you $15,000? I'm not saying give. I'm saying pay back. There's a difference. I covered costs that all 3 of us should have split. I'm just asking for what's fair, what I'm owed."
I tried to process what I was hearing, tried to make sense of it. "Patty, that was 13 years ago. You never mentioned it, not once in 13 years. And now, 5 days after I win money, you're asking me to pay you back for something you never told me about?" Her face hardened. "So that's it? You're going to be selfish about this? After everything I did for our family? After everything I sacrificed?" "I'm not being selfish. This is a lot to process. You're asking me for $15,000 because of something that happened over a decade ago that you never mentioned. And you're doing it 5 days after I won the lottery. Can you understand why that feels strange to me?"
"Strange?" Patricia's voice rose. "What's strange is that you're hesitating. What's strange is that you have more money than you've ever dreamed of, and you can't immediately say yes to helping your own sister. The sister who was there for you through everything, who helped you pack up Robert's office when his business failed, who came over every week for months after he died to make sure you were eating, to make sure you were okay. I know you did those things," I said, my voice shaking now. "And I've always been grateful. But Patty, this feels like what?" Like I'm taking advantage of you? Is that what you think of me? No, I just heard.
Because let me tell you something, Anne. You wouldn't have survived the last 6 years without me. You wouldn't have made it through losing Robert without me showing up, taking care of you, making sure you didn't fall apart completely. And this is how you repay me? By acting like I'm some kind of gold digger for asking for money you legitimately owe me? I couldn't speak. My throat was closed. Tears were burning in my eyes. I shouldn't have to ask you for this, Patricia continued, her voice hard and cold. You should have offered. The moment you won that money, you should have thought about everyone you owe, everyone who's been there for you, everyone who's sacrificed for you. But I can see now what this money is doing to you already. It's making you forget about family. It's making you forget about the people who actually love you. It's making you selfish.
Heard. That's not fair, I whispered. That's not fair at all.
Patricia stared at me for a long moment, her eyes cold. Then she shook her head. Think about it, Anne. Think about what's right. Think about what kind of person you want to be. Because right now, I don't recognize you. We'll talk later. She walked out of the kitchen, leaving me standing there, my heart pounding, my hands shaking, tears running down my face. I stood there for maybe 2 minutes, trying to compose myself, trying to understand what had just happened. My sister who I loved, who I trusted, had just backed me into a corner, had just made me feel guilty for hesitating to give her $15,000 for expenses I'd never known about.
And she'd done it by reminding me of every good thing she'd ever done for me, by weaponizing her kindness, by making me feel like I owed her not just money, but my loyalty, my gratitude, my compliance. I wiped my eyes and took a deep breath. I told myself this was just Patricia being stressed. She'd probably been holding on to this resentment for years, and the lottery win had just brought it to the surface. We'd talk later, when emotions weren't so high. We'd work it out. I thought that was the end of it. I thought that was the worst of it. I had no idea what was waiting for me in the living room. When I walked back in, trying to compose myself, trying to smile like nothing had happened, I noticed the room had gone quiet. Everyone was looking at me. The easy laughter from before was gone. The teenagers had been sent upstairs or outside, I wasn't sure which. It was just the adults now.
Hard. Patricia was sitting on the couch next to Doug, her arms crossed, her face set in an expression I'd never seen before. Cold, determined. David stood up. His face was serious, none of the earlier warmth remaining. Anne, can we talk? All of us? Something in his tone made my stomach drop, made me want to run. But these were my people, my family. I had to trust that whatever this was, we could work through it. Sure, I said carefully, my voice not quite steady. What's going on? David glanced at Linda, who nodded at him. He looked at Jennifer, who was sitting very still, her hands folded in her lap. He looked at Patricia, who gave him a slight nod. They'd planned this. Whatever was about to happen, they'd planned it. They'd coordinated it. We've been talking, David said slowly, about the money, about what's fair, about what family means.
What do you mean, what's fair? I asked, though I already knew. I could feel it coming like a wave, like a wall of water about to crash over me. Jennifer spoke up, her voice soft but firm. Anne, you know we all love you, but this lottery win, it's a lot of money, life-changing money. And we all think, you should share it with the family. Share it? I repeated, my voice barely above a whisper.
Not all of it, David said quickly, but his tone suggested he'd rehearsed this. But, help out the family. Look, we're all struggling, Anne. Every single one of us. Linda and I have 3 kids to put through college, and we're looking at $200,000 minimum in costs over the next 5 years. Jennifer and Mark are drowning in medical debt for Mark's surgery last year. Patricia and Doug have credit card debt and Emma's student loans that are killing them. The Thompsons are about to lose their business. Aunt Marie's retirement community is raising their rates. We're family. We should help each other. And you're in a position now to actually make a difference in all our lives. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. How much are we talking about?
Hard. David glanced at Linda again. She nodded, her face set. There was something in her eyes, something hard and determined that I'd never seen before. Linda and I had never been particularly close, but we'd always been friendly. Now she was looking at me like I was a problem to be solved, like I was an obstacle. We were thinking, David said carefully, maybe you could give each household $100,000. There are 5 of us here, me and Linda, Patricia and Doug, Jennifer and Mark, Aunt Marie, and the Thompsons. The room spun. I actually felt dizzy, had to grip the back of a chair to steady myself. I did the math in my head. 5 households, $100,000 each. $500,000. More than half of what I'd actually take home after taxes. You want me to give away half of my winnings?
Not give, Jennifer said, leaning forward, her voice taking on a pleading quality. Share. We're family, Anne. This kind of money could change all our lives. You'd still have a couple $100,000 left. That's more than enough for you. You're single, you don't have Michael's college to pay for anymore, your house is almost paid off, you have no real expenses. But the rest of us, we're drowning. We have real needs, urgent needs. I looked at my Aunt Marie, who hadn't spoken. She was looking down at her hands, her face troubled. But she wasn't disagreeing. Aunt Marie, I said, my voice breaking, what do you think? She looked up at me, and her eyes were sad. But she said, Anne, honey, I think they just want to be included in your good fortune. Is that so wrong? Family is supposed to take care of each other. When one person does well, everyone should benefit. That's how we were raised. Included in my good fortune, I repeated slowly, or entitled to it. The room went very quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like a held breath, like everyone waiting for an explosion. David's face hardened. That's not fair, Anne. We're not talking about entitlement. We're talking about family taking care of each other. Or does that only work one direction? What do you mean, one direction?
I mean, you've always been happy to let us help you. When Robert's business went under and you were facing bankruptcy, who helped you move his stuff out of the office? Who spent an entire weekend helping you go through all the paperwork? When your car broke down 2 years ago and you couldn't afford the repairs, who lent you the money? You lent me $1,000 and I paid you back in 3 months, with interest. But you took it when you needed it, didn't you? You didn't hesitate. You didn't question whether it was appropriate to ask family for money. You didn't make me feel guilty about it. But now that you have more money than all of us combined, suddenly it's inappropriate for us to ask you? Suddenly we're the bad guys? My hands were shaking. My whole body was shaking. David, this is different. This is my lottery winning. This is something that happened to me. This is mine. Linda spoke up for the first time, her voice sharp. Is it though? Is it really just yours? Because from where I'm sitting, you've had a support system your whole life. Your family has always been there for you. We helped you through Robert's death, through his business failure, through all your struggles. And now you act like you earned this money, like you deserve it all for yourself. But honey, you just scratched off a lottery ticket. You didn't earn anything. You got lucky. And when someone in a family gets lucky, the whole family should benefit. That's what family means. I stared at her, at Linda, who I'd known for 15 years, who I'd welcomed into our family, who I'd helped move house,
whose kids I'd babysat. And she was looking at me like I was being unreasonable, like I was the problem, like I was the villain in this story. "I can't believe what I'm hearing," I said, my voice shaking with rage and hurt. "I just won this money 5 days ago. 5 days. I haven't even claimed it yet. I haven't talked to a financial advisor or a lawyer. I haven't figured out how taxes work or what my actual take-home will be. I haven't had time to process what this means for my life, for my future. And you're all sitting here, in my house, at a dinner I made for you, telling me I'm selfish for not immediately agreeing to give away more than half of it?"
"We're not saying you're selfish," Patricia said, but her tone said otherwise. Her voice was cold, cutting. "We're saying you have an opportunity here, an opportunity to do something meaningful for the people who love you, to show that you care about more than just yourself, to prove that family actually means something to you."
Just myself? The words came out louder than I intended. The anger was rising now, mixing with the hurt, creating something hot and sharp in my chest. I've spent my entire life taking care of other people. 28 years working doubles and night shifts, missing holidays and birthdays and my son's school events so I could help Robert build his business, so I could make sure we had enough money. Working through my own grief after he died because we couldn't afford for me to take time off. Sending money to help with Mom and Dad's medical bills before they died. Money I didn't really have. Money I put on credit cards that I'm still paying off. I helped you with a down payment on your house, David. $5,000 that you said you'd pay back but never did. I gave you money when you were between jobs, Jennifer. $3,000. I never asked for it back because you're family and I loved you. I've always been there for this family. Always.
"And we appreciate that," Linda said, but her voice was cold, dismissive. "But this is different. This is life-changing money. This isn't a few $1,000s here and there. You could actually make a real difference now, not just small favors, real substantial help that could change our futures, our kids' futures. But apparently you'd rather keep it all for yourself." "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to," Patricia said quietly. "Your hesitation says everything."
Jim Thompson spoke up for the first time. He'd been silent through all of this, sitting in the corner with his wife, Sarah. "Anne, I don't think you understand the position some of us are in. Sarah and I, we're about to lose everything. Our business is failing. We've put everything we have into it. Our savings, our retirement, everything. We're 6 months away from bankruptcy, from losing our house. $100,000 wouldn't just help us. It would save us. It would literally save our lives, our livelihood, everything we've built. Can you really look at us and say no to that? Can you really live with yourself knowing you could have saved us but chose not to?" I felt like I was suffocating, like the walls were closing in. I didn't say no. I said I need time. I need to think. I need to process all of this.
"Process what?" Patricia snapped, standing up now. "Process whether or not you care about your family? Process whether or not you're the selfish person you're showing us right now? That's not what this is about. Then what is it about, Anne? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you got money and immediately forgot about everyone who's been there for you, everyone who's sacrificed for you, everyone who's loved you when you had nothing to offer." I felt tears streaming down my face. How can you say that? How can you say I've had nothing to offer? I've given everything to this family. Everything. "Small things," Linda said dismissively. "A few thousand here and there, babysitting, helping with moves, but nothing real, nothing substantial, nothing that actually changed anyone's life. And now that you have the chance to do something that matters, you're balking."
Sarah Thompson stood up, her face flushed. "Anne, I'm going to be very direct with you. Jim and I came here tonight because Patricia called us and said you wanted to help the family.
She said you were planning to share your winnings with people who needed it. That's the only reason we came. We wouldn't have driven an hour to sit here and watch you be celebrated for being lucky. But Patricia said you were different. She said you cared about family. Was she wrong? My head snapped toward Patricia. You told them I was planning to give them money? I never said that. Patricia's face flushed, but her expression remained hard. I said you'd want to help family. That's what good people do, Anne. That's what people with hearts do. I thought I knew you better than this.
You lied to them, I said, my voice rising. You invited them here under false pretenses. You made promises on my behalf without asking me. How could you do that? I thought I knew my sister, Patricia shot back. I thought I knew someone who cared about more than money, but I guess I was wrong. Mark, Jennifer's husband, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. His voice was gentle, almost pitying. Anne, I don't think you understand what it's like to be in real financial trouble. Jennifer and I, we wake up every day wondering how we're going to make it. The medical bills for my surgery, they're crushing us. We can't sleep. We can't breathe. Every phone call could be a collections agency. Every knock on the door could be a lawsuit. You have the power to fix that, to give us our lives back. And you're sitting here acting like we're asking for too much. Hard. $130,000 is a lot of money, I said, my voice breaking. Not to someone with $1 million, Jennifer said quietly. To you, it's just numbers. But to us, it's everything. It's our marriage surviving the stress. It's our future. How can you put a price on that? I looked around the room, at faces I'd known my whole life, at people I'd loved, people I trusted. And not one of them, not a single person, was on my side. Not one person was saying, wait, maybe this is too much to ask. Not one person was saying, maybe we should give her time. They were all looking at me like I was the villain. Like I was the one being unreasonable. Like I was the one breaking some sacred family code. Aunt Marie spoke up again, her voice wavering but firm. Anne, honey, when your mother was alive, she always said family comes first, no matter what. She lived by that principle. She and your father helped everyone they could, whenever they could. I think she'd want you to do the same. I think she'd be disappointed if she saw you hesitating like this. That hit me like a physical blow, invoking my dead mother, telling me she'd be disappointed in me. Don't, I said, my voice barely audible. Don't you dare tell me what my mother would think. Someone needs to, Aunt Marie said sadly, because you're not acting like her daughter right now. You're acting like a stranger. It moved closer, his face intense. Anne, listen to me. This isn't just about the money. This is about what kind of person you are. This is about whether you're going to let wealth change you, corrupt you, turn you into someone none of us recognize. We're giving you a chance here, a chance to do the right thing, to show us that you're still the Anne we know and love. Don't throw that away. I'm not throwing anything away. You're the ones. We're the ones what? Patricia interrupted, her voice sharp. The ones who've been there for you your whole life? The ones who've supported you through everything? The ones who are asking you to return that support now that you actually can? Is that what we're doing wrong? Ambushing me. My voice rose to a near shout. You're ganging up on me in my own home. You've turned what was supposed to be a celebration into an intervention. You've made me feel like a criminal for wanting time to think about a life-changing decision. If you need time to think about helping your family, Linda said coldly, then maybe you've already made your decision. The words hung in the air like a guillotine blade. I looked at each of them, really looked. At Patricia's cold, hard expression, at David's disappointment, at Jennifer's desperate pleading, at the Thompsons' barely concealed anger, at Aunt Marie's sad resignation, at Linda's contempt. And I finally saw it, finally understood. This wasn't about family.
This wasn't about love or support or caring for each other. This was about money, pure and simple. I had it, and they wanted it, and they were willing to use every weapon in their arsenal: guilt, obligation, family history, my dead parents, to get it. I think everyone should leave, I said, my voice suddenly calm, eerily calm. I think you should all leave right now. Anne, David started. No, I said, and my voice was stronger now, clear. No, you've ambushed me in my own home. You've coordinated this attack. You've lied to people about what I promised. You've made me feel guilty for something I haven't even done. You've invoked my dead mother to manipulate me. I think you should leave, all of you, right now. We're just trying to talk to you, Jennifer said, her voice taking on a whining quality. We're trying to make you understand.
Understand what? That my family sees me as a bank account? That the moment I have something good happen to me, you all line up with your hands out like I owe you something? That none of you, not one of you, has asked me how I'm feeling about this, if I'm scared, if I'm overwhelmed, if I need support. You just want to know what you're going to get, how much I'm going to give you. That's all any of you care about. That's not true, Patricia said, standing up, her voice rising. That's not fair, and you know it. We love you, Anne. We've always loved you. But you're showing us right now that our love meant nothing. That the moment you got money, you forgot about everyone who's been there for you. You're choosing wealth over family. No, I said, and I felt something breaking inside my chest. Something that had been holding me together for 53 years. You're the ones who made this about money. You're the ones who turned my good fortune into your entitlement. You're the ones who planned this ambush, who coordinated this attack, who turned my celebration into a shakedown. You did that, not me. A shakedown? David's face turned red. You think asking family for help is a shakedown? You think us coming to you in our time of need is a crime? I think showing up at my house with a coordinated plan to guilt me into giving you $500,000 5 days after I won the lottery is a shakedown. Yes. David took a step toward me, his face furious. You know what, Anne? Linda was right. You've changed already. The money's already corrupted you. You're not the sister I knew. You're not the person we thought you were. Maybe, I said quietly, or maybe you never really knew me at all. Maybe you only knew what I could do for you. Linda stood up, grabbing her purse. We don't have to stay here and be insulted. Come on, David, let's go. We're not done talking about this, David said, pointing at me. This isn't over, Anne. You think you can just dismiss your family like this? You think you can just cut us off and there won't be consequences? A chill ran down my spine. What does that mean? It means, Linda said coldly, that we have options. We've talked to a lawyer. We don't want to take legal action, but we will if we have to. My hands went numb. Legal action? For what? Hard. For our fair share, David said, his voice hard. For breach of verbal contract. You promised to help us with college costs. You said you'd be there for us if we ever needed anything. A lawyer told us that sudden wealth acquired during ongoing family support obligations can be considered shared family assets in some cases. We're giving you a chance to do the right thing before we have to make this official. I couldn't breathe, couldn't process what I was hearing. You're threatening to sue me? We're giving you options, Linda corrected. We're trying to avoid going down that road. But if you force us to, we will. Think about that, Anne. Think about what you want your family's future to look like.
They left then, David and Linda and their kids who'd been called down from upstairs. The teenagers looked confused, upset. Madison was crying. I wanted to reach out to them to explain, but Linda pulled them out the door before I could. Patricia and Doug stood up next. Emma looked at her mother with an expression I couldn't quite read. Was that disappointment? Confusion? "You're making a huge mistake," Patricia said at the door. "You're choosing money over the people who love you. I hope you can live with that." "I hope you can live with what you did here tonight," I responded, my voice shaking. Patricia's face twisted. "What I did? I asked you to repay money you owe me. I asked you to be the sister I thought you were. If that's a crime, then I guess I'm guilty."
"You orchestrated this whole thing," I said. "You invited people I didn't invite. You told them I was planning to give them money. You turned my celebration into an ambush. You weaponized my family against me. And you did it all within a week of me winning the lottery. If you can't see what's wrong with that, then I don't know what to say to you." Patricia stared at me for a long moment, tears streaming down her face. But they felt calculated now, performed. "You've changed," she whispered. "My sister would never talk to me like this. Money has already ruined you." They left. Jennifer and Mark were next. Jennifer was crying openly now. "I can't believe you're doing this," she sobbed. "We're drowning, Anne. We're literally drowning, and you're just going to watch us go under after everything we've been through together?" "Jennifer, I never said I wouldn't help you. I said I needed time."
"Time?" Mark cut me off, his voice harsh. "We don't have time. The collections agencies don't give us time. The bills don't stop coming because you need time to think. But I guess that doesn't matter to you. I guess our suffering doesn't matter now that you're rich." They left, slamming the door behind them. The Thompsons were almost vibrating with anger. "You know what, Anne?" Jim said, his face red. "Patricia was wrong about you. She said you were generous, that you'd understand what it meant to struggle. But you're just like every other lottery winner. Selfish, greedy, forgetting where you came from the second you get money." "I never promised you anything," I said quietly. "Patricia had no right to tell you I did." "She had every right to expect her sister to have a heart," Sarah snapped, but clearly she was wrong about that.
They left, and suddenly the house was quiet, except for Aunt Marie, who was still sitting in her chair, looking small and old and tired. "Aunt Marie," I said, going to her, "let me drive you home." She looked up at me, and her eyes were full of tears. "Your mother would be so sad to see this, Anne. So sad to see her family torn apart like this." "Aunt Marie, they ambushed me. They coordinated this. They're scared," she said softly. "They're all so scared. Money is hard for everyone right now. And when they saw that you'd won, they saw hope. Maybe they went about it wrong, but can you blame them for hoping?" I knelt down beside her chair. "Aunt Marie, I'm not saying I won't help anyone. I'm just saying I need time. I need to figure things out. They're asking for half of everything I won, and I haven't even claimed the ticket yet. Can you understand why that feels overwhelming?"
Hard. She patted my hand, but her touch felt distant. Cold. "I understand, dear. I just hope you remember what's important. Money comes and goes, but family, you only get one family." I drove her home in silence. When I dropped her off at the retirement community, she kissed my cheek and said, "Think about it, dear. Really think about what kind of person you want to be." When I got back home, I sat in my car in the driveway for a long time, unable to go inside, unable to face the disaster that was my dining room, the remnants of the dinner that was supposed to be a celebration. Finally, I went in. I looked at the dirty dishes, the half-eaten food, the wine glasses with lipstick stains on the rims. I looked at my mother's dishes on the table, the candles burnt down to nubs. And I told Michael, "But this is hard." "Mom?" "No, Mom. Family doesn't do this. Family doesn't coordinate ambushes. Family doesn't threaten lawsuits. Family doesn't weaponize your dead mother against you.
Family doesn't lie to other people about promises you never made. What they're doing isn't love. It's manipulation. It's coercion. It's extortion dressed up as family obligation. I couldn't speak. The word extortion felt too harsh, too ugly, but it also felt true. Mom, listen to me. Tomorrow morning, first thing, you need to call that lawyer I found for you, Catherine. You need to tell her everything that happened tonight, everything. And then you need to claim that ticket and put the money somewhere they can't touch it. Do you hear me? You need to protect yourself. Michael, David threatened to sue me. He said he talked to a lawyer.
He's bluffing. Or if he's not, his lawyer is a scam artist. You can't sue someone for not giving you their lottery winnings. That's insane. But it doesn't matter if they have a case or not. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to bully you into giving them money. And if you don't protect yourself right now, they're going to make your life hell until you do. I started crying again, deep, shaking sobs. I don't understand how this happened. How did everything fall apart so fast? It fell apart the second you told them about the money, Michael said gently. Because that's when they stopped seeing you as Anne, their sister, and started seeing you as Anne, the lottery winner, Anne, the solution to all their problems, Anne, the bank account.
We talked for another hour. Michael made me promise to call Catherine first thing in the morning, made me promise not to answer any calls from family until I talked to the lawyer, made me promise to take care of myself. I love you, Mom, he said before we hung up, and I'm so sorry this is happening. But you're going to get through this. You're stronger than you know. After we hung up, I sat in my wrecked living room and looked at the ruins of my celebration, at the empty chairs where my family had sat, at the spaces where their love used to be. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in my bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the evening, every word, every accusation, every threat. And I realized Michael was right. This wasn't about family. This had never been about family.
This was about money, about what they thought they were owed, about what they decided they deserved. And I realized something else, something that made my chest ache. I didn't really know these people at all. Or maybe I'd always known, and I'd just been too afraid to see it. The next morning, Sunday, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 34 text messages. Most were from Patricia. The messages started conciliatory. Anne, can we talk? I think we all said things we didn't mean last night. But they quickly turned angry. You're really not going to respond? After everything I did for you? You're just going to ghost your own sister? Then manipulative. I'm worried about you. This isn't like you. I think the stress of the money is affecting you. Please call me. Then threatening. You need to know that David is serious about the lawsuit. He has a real lawyer. This could get ugly if you don't talk to us. David's messages were shorter, angrier. We need to talk, now. Stop ignoring us. You're making a huge mistake. My lawyer says we have a case. Call me. Jennifer's were the most heart-wrenching. Please, Anne, please, we're desperate. I'm begging you. The bills are destroying us. You can help. Please just help us. Don't do this to us. Even the Thompsons had texted. We're confused about what happened last night. Patricia said you were planning to help us. Was she wrong? We really need to know because we're making decisions based on what she told us. I turned off my phone. At 8 a.m. sharp, I called Catherine, the lawyer Michael had found. Anne, she answered warmly. How are you? Are you ready to claim your ticket tomorrow? I need to tell you what happened last night, I said, and my voice cracked immediately. I told her everything. The dinner, the ambush, the demands, the threats, the lawsuit David mentioned, everything. Catherine was quiet for a long moment after I finished. Then she said, very carefully, Anne, I'm going to be very direct with you. What your family did last night wasn't just inappropriate, it was potentially criminal. I felt my stomach drop. What? Coordinating to pressure someone into giving them money, using false pretenses and threats. That's coercion. What your sister did, inviting people to your home under false promises that you'd give them money, that could be fraud. The threats of baseless lawsuits, that's intimidation. I'm not saying we should pursue charges, but I want you to understand the severity of what happened. They're my family, I whispered. I can't.
They stopped being family when they started threatening you, Catherine said firmly. They're predators now, Anne, and you're the prey. We need to protect you. We spent 2 hours on the phone. Catherine explained my options. We could send cease and desist letters. We could pursue restraining orders if they continued to harass me. We could report the threats to the police. But first, she said, we need to claim that ticket and protect the money. Can you come to my office tomorrow morning? We'll go to the lottery office together, and then we'll set up protections, trusts, accounts they can't access, a legal firewall between you and anyone who might try to take this from you.
Can David really sue me? I asked.
He can file a lawsuit about anything. That doesn't mean he'll win. And based on what you've told me, he has absolutely no case. Verbal promises to be there for family aren't legally binding contracts. Lottery winnings are separate property. He's bluffing, or his lawyer is taking his money knowing they'll lose. Either way, we'll handle it. After I hung up with Catherine, I sat in my kitchen drinking cold coffee, trying to process everything. My family had become criminals, predators, people I needed legal protection from. How had this happened? How had we gone from a happy dinner party to this in less than 24 hours? But I knew the answer. Michael had told me. Catherine had confirmed it. Money doesn't change people. It reveals them.
That afternoon, I tried to clean up from the dinner, but every dish I washed, every piece of food I threw away, felt like throwing away a piece of my life. My old life. The life where I believed my family loved me for who I was, not what I could give them. My phone was still off, but I turned it on briefly to text Michael that I'd talked to Catherine and we had a plan. The messages flooded in immediately, dozens more. I turned the phone back off without reading them. That night, I had a dream about my mother. We were in her kitchen, the one from my childhood, and she was making her famous lasagna, the same recipe I'd made for the dinner. In the dream, I asked her, "Mom, did you know? Did you know what they were really like?"
And Dream Mom looked at me with sad eyes and said, I knew they were scared. I knew they were struggling, but I always hoped love would be stronger than fear. I guess I was wrong. I woke up crying. Monday morning, I met Catherine at her office. She was in her 50s, professional, with kind eyes and a firm handshake. Ready to become a millionaire? She asked with a small smile. We drove to the lottery office together. The process was surprisingly simple. I presented my ticket, filled out paperwork, had my photo taken. They explained the tax situation. After federal and state taxes, I'd net about $650,000. How would you like to receive the money? The lottery official asked. Catherine answered for me. We'd like it transferred directly into a trust account. We'll provide the details. Within 2 hours, it was done. I was officially a lottery winner. The money was real. The money was mine. And the money was protected. Catherine and I spent the rest of the day setting up legal protections. The money went into a trust that only I could access. No one could sue the trust. No one could claim the money was a shared family asset. It was mine, legally and completely. Now, Catherine said as we sat in her office late that afternoon, we need to talk about your family. I know, I said quietly. They're going to escalate. When they realize you're not responding, when they understand the money is protected, they're going to get desperate. Desperate people do dangerous things. I want you to be prepared for that. What should I do?
Document everything. Save every text, every voicemail, every email. If they show up at your house, don't let them in. If they threaten you, call the police. If they file a lawsuit, forward it to me immediately. And Anne, she looked at me seriously. Don't feel guilty. You didn't do anything wrong. They did. Remember that. That night, I turned my phone back on. The messages had multiplied. Over 100 now. Some begging, some angry, some threatening. Patricia, I talked to my lawyer too. Did you know you could be liable for emotional distress, for the harm you're causing us by refusing to help? Think about that. David, we filed the paperwork. You're being sued. Hope you're happy. Jennifer, I thought you were better than this. I thought you cared about people. I was wrong. You're heartless. Even Aunt Marie, your mother would be ashamed, Anne. Truly ashamed. And then, one message that made my blood run cold. From Patricia. I talked to the local newspaper. They're very interested in doing a story about lottery winners who abandon their families. I thought you should know. She was threatening to go public, to humiliate me, to turn me into a villain in the eyes of our entire community. I forwarded all the messages to Catherine. She called me back within minutes. This is harassment, and the newspaper threat is attempted extortion. We're filing for a restraining order tomorrow. All of them. Patricia, David, Jennifer. Anyone who's threatening you. Catherine, they're my family. And they stopped being family when they started threatening to destroy your reputation to force you to give them money. This isn't love. This isn't even greed anymore. This is warfare, and you need to defend yourself. I didn't sleep again that night. The next morning, Tuesday, exactly 1 week after I'd won the lottery, Catherine filed for restraining orders against Patricia, David, and Jennifer. Cease and desist letters went to all of them, demanding they stop contacting me. You threatened to go to the newspapers. To tell the truth, to tell people what kind of person you really are. You're destroying this family, Anne. You're tearing us apart over money. How can you live with yourself?
You're the one who did that, I said, my voice shaking. You're the one who turned my good fortune into your entitlement. You're the one who lied to the Thompsons. You're the one who threatened me. I never threatened you. I tried to help you see reason. But you've changed. The money has corrupted you. My sister is gone, and I don't know who you are anymore. Then leave me alone, I said, and hung up. David's lawyer sent a response to Catherine's cease and desist, saying they were proceeding with their lawsuit regardless. Catherine laughed when she read it. He's got nothing. This is going to get thrown out in summary judgment. But let him waste his money if he wants.
Jennifer's response was different. She sent one final text that made it past the blocks I'd set up. I hope you know what you've done. Our marriage won't survive this debt. When we lose everything, when we lose our house, when our lives fall apart, I want you to remember that you could have prevented it. I want you to remember that you chose money over people. I'll never forgive you for this. Never. I showed it to Catherine. Is there anything she can do? Can she really lose everything? Catherine's face softened. Anne, I know this is hard, but Jennifer's financial situation isn't your responsibility. And honestly, if they have $130,000 in medical debt, bankruptcy might actually be the best option for them. They can discharge most of it and start fresh. Your money wouldn't solve their problems. It would just delay them. But what if...
No, Catherine said firmly. No what-ifs. These people have shown you who they are. They've threatened you, harassed you, tried to coerce you, and attempted to publicly humiliate you. You don't owe them anything. And the guilt you're feeling, that's exactly what they want you to feel. Don't let them win. That week was the longest of my life. I went to work, but I couldn't concentrate. My patients asked if I was okay. My colleagues noticed I was distracted. I told them I was dealing with family issues, which was the understatement of the century. The Thompsons sent a formal demand letter through a lawyer, claiming that Patricia had made promises on my behalf that constituted a verbal contract. Catherine sent back a response explaining that Patricia had no authority to make promises on my behalf and that their claim had no legal merit. The demands continued for days, then weeks.
I love you, but this is hard. Patricia tried to reach me through Emma, her daughter. Emma sent me a message. Aunt Anne, I don't know what's going on, but my mom is falling apart. She cries every day. She says you've betrayed her. She says the family is destroyed. I don't understand what happened, but please, can't you just talk to her? I stared at that message for a long time. Emma was innocent in this. She was caught in the middle of something that wasn't her fault. I wrote back, Emma, I love you, but what happened between me and your mother is complicated. I'm sorry she's hurting, but she made choices that led to this. I hope someday you'll understand. Take care of yourself. She didn't respond. Aunt Marie sent a letter, an actual handwritten letter delivered through the mail. It said, Dear Anne,
I've thought a lot about what happened at your dinner. I've prayed about it. And I've come to realize that I may have been wrong to pressure you. Your mother always taught us that family comes first. But she also taught us that love isn't demanding, that real love gives freely, without expectation. I think we all forgot that second part when we heard about your winnings. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking you to reconcile with Patricia and David if you're not ready. I'm just asking you to know that I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. Your mother would be too, though I didn't say that at the time. I hope you'll visit me soon. Not to talk about money, just to talk.
I visited her the next week. We had tea in her small apartment at the retirement community. We talked about my mother, about my father, about old family memories. She didn't mention the money once. As I was leaving, she squeezed my hand and said, You did the right thing, Anne. It takes courage to stand up to family. More courage than most people have. I lost them, I whispered. I lost everyone. No, she said gently. They lost you. There's a difference. David's lawsuit was indeed filed. Catherine had me served with papers at work, which was humiliating, but she assured me it was all for show. He's trying to intimidate you, she said, trying to make you feel like you're under attack so you'll settle just to make it go away. Don't fall for it.
The lawsuit claimed I had verbally agreed to pay for his children's education, that I had a history of providing financial support to the family, and that my sudden refusal to continue that support after winning the lottery constituted breach of contract and emotional distress. It was absurd, but it was also terrifying to see my name on legal documents, to see my brother's name listed as the plaintiff suing me. Catherine filed a motion to dismiss. This will be thrown out, she promised, but it might take a few months. Be patient. In the meantime, the harassment continued, though it was less direct now because of the restraining orders. Patricia created a fake social media account to send me messages. David had friends call me, claiming they were calling about something else, but then bringing up the lawsuit. Jennifer sent letters through mutual friends. The whole town seemed to know about it. People at work would ask carefully worded questions. I heard you had some family drama. Everything okay? Mr. Chen at the corner store where I'd bought the ticket looked at me sadly one day and said, I'm sorry, Anne. I didn't know winning would cause you so much trouble. The newspaper article Patricia had threatened never materialized, thank God. Apparently, the newspaper had ethics standards about publishing hit pieces against lottery winners. But the damage was done. Everyone knew. Everyone had an opinion. Some people supported me. Families shouldn't threaten to sue you, one colleague said. That's messed up. But others sided with my family. If I won $1 million, I'd help my family. another colleague said, just loud enough for me to hear. That's what good people do. The guilt was crushing. The isolation was suffocating. Even though intellectually I knew I'd done nothing wrong, emotionally I felt like a monster. I thought about that $5,000. If I'd just given them the money, would any of this have happened? If I'd just said yes, would I still have my family? But then I'd remember Catherine's words. They stopped being family when they started threatening you. And Michael's words. Money doesn't change people. It reveals them. And I'd know, deep down, that giving them money wouldn't have solved anything. It would have just delayed the inevitable. Because the problem wasn't the money. The problem was that my family saw me as a resource to be exploited, not a person to be loved.
3 months after the disastrous dinner, David's lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice. The judge called it frivolous and without merit, and ordered David to pay my legal fees. Catherine was triumphant. This is perfect. He's not going to appeal. He can't afford to. But I felt empty. Winning the lawsuit didn't feel like winning. It just felt like losing in a different way. I had lost my brother, my sister, my cousin, most of my extended family. I had won the money, but what had it cost me? 4 months after the win, I made a decision. I couldn't keep living like this, isolated, guilty, haunted by what I'd lost. So I started rebuilding. I retired from nursing. My last day was bittersweet. My colleagues threw me a small party, and I cried saying goodbye to patients I'd known for years. But my body was grateful. For the first time in 28 years, I wasn't in chronic pain.
This is hard. I started volunteering at a literacy program, teaching adults to read. It was fulfilling in a way my nursing job had stopped being years ago. I made new friends, people who didn't know about the lottery, people who just liked spending time with me. I traveled. Ireland like I'd planned, then Italy, then Greece. I saw things I'd only dreamed of seeing. I took Michael on a trip to Japan. We spent 2 weeks exploring, eating amazing food, visiting temples. It was one of the best times of my life. I bought a smaller house in a different neighborhood, a fresh start where no one knew my story. And slowly, over the course of months, I stopped checking my phone compulsively for messages from my family, stopped hoping for an apology that would never come, stopped waiting for them to see what they'd done. 6 months after the lottery win, Emma reached out again. "Aunt Anne, can we meet? Just you and me? I need to talk to you." We met at a coffee shop downtown. Emma looked older, tired. "I need to apologize," she said before I could even sit down, "for not standing up for you that night, for letting my mom put me in the middle of this, for believing her version of events without questioning it." We talked for 3 hours. Emma told me things I'd never known, how Patricia had always been jealous of me, how she'd resented that I was the one our parents relied on, how she'd been waiting for an opportunity to tear me down. "She couldn't stand that something good happened to you," Emma said, her eyes wet. "She couldn't stand that you got something she didn't, and I'm ashamed that it took me this long to see it. I'm ashamed I didn't see what she was doing to you." "You were caught in the middle," I said gently. "That wasn't fair to you." "I could have chosen differently. I could have stood up for you. But I was scared of my mom. I didn't want to become her target. I'm sorry for that. We still meet for coffee once a month now. Emma is the only family member I've reconciled with, the only one who apologized, the only one who saw me as a person instead of a bank account." She told me recently that Patricia still talks about me, still claims I abandoned the family.
still portrays herself as the victim. Do you think she'll ever understand what she did? I asked. Emma shook her head sadly. No, she's rewritten history in her mind. In her version, you're the villain. You always will be. David's family slowly faded from my life completely. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he and Linda did manage to put the kids through college without my help. Tyler got a scholarship. Madison went to community college for 2 years. They survived. Jennifer and Mark did file for bankruptcy, just as Catherine had predicted. They lost their house, but found a smaller place to rent, then rebuilding, without my help. The Thompsons' business did fail. They filed for bankruptcy too. But last I heard, Jim got a job with a construction company, and Sarah's working as a bookkeeper. They're okay. Aunt Marie and I have tea every other week. She's the one connection to my old family that I've maintained. Sometimes she tells me about Patricia and David, though I usually ask her not to. Patricia bought a new car, she mentioned once. And said one.
I raised my eyebrows. I thought she was drowning in debt? Aunt Marie just gave me a look, a knowing look, and I understood. The crisis hadn't been as dire as they'd claimed, or it had been, but they'd found other ways to solve it, ways that didn't involve guilt-tripping me. They saw you as an easy solution, Aunt Marie said gently. When that didn't work out, they had to find harder solutions, but they found them. It's been almost 2 years now since that Tuesday morning when I scratched off a lottery ticket that changed my life. People always say winning the lottery is a blessing, a dream come true. And in some ways, it was. But what nobody tells you is that sudden money doesn't reveal who you are. It reveals who everyone around you is. It strips away the pretense, the politeness, the illusion of unconditional love. My family showed me that their love had a price tag, that family to them meant obligation and ownership and entitlement. And as much as it hurt, and it hurt more than I can put into words, I'm grateful I learned it. Because now I know the difference between people who love me and people who love what I can do for them. I'm grateful for Michael, who never once asked for anything except that I take care of myself. He's getting married next spring, and I'm paying for the wedding because I want to, because he never demanded it, because his love for me never came with conditions. I'm grateful for Emma, who had the courage to see the truth and apologize. She's saving up to go back to school for her master's degree, and I'm helping her with tuition, not because she asked, not because she expected it, but because I offered, and she accepted gracefully, with genuine gratitude. I'm grateful for Aunt Marie, who saw both sides and chose compassion over judgment. I've been helping with her retirement community fees. She didn't ask, I offered. That's how help should work. I'm grateful for Catherine, my lawyer, who protected me when I couldn't protect myself. We've become friends. She helped me set up a small charitable fund to help nurses in financial distress, helping people anonymously with no strings attached, no demands for gratitude or recognition. And I'm grateful for the new life I've built, small and quiet and mine. I volunteer at the Literacy Center 3 days a week. I travel when I want to. I spend time with people who value me for who I am, not what I have. Sometimes I think about that scratch-off ticket, about the moment I said yes when I usually said no, about how different my life would be if I just walked out of Mr. Chen's store without it. Would I still have Patricia? Would I still believe David loved me unconditionally? Would I still think Jennifer was truly my friend? Maybe, but I'd also still be living a lie. Because that lottery ticket didn't destroy my family. It just showed me what had always been true, but I'd been too afraid to see. My family's love was transactional. Their support came with expectations. Their kindness was an investment they expected returns on. And when I couldn't deliver those returns, when I needed time, when I hesitated, when I wanted to protect myself, they turned on me instantly and completely. That's not family. That's not love. Real family, the kind that matters, the kind that lasts, doesn't demand, doesn't threaten, doesn't coordinate ambushes or file lawsuits or threaten public humiliation. Real family celebrates your good fortune without immediately calculating what they can get from.
Real family asks how you're doing before asking what you can do for them. Real family loves you when you have nothing to offer. I lost my sister. I lost my brother. I lost cousins and friends, and a version of my family I'd been holding on to for 53 years. But I found myself. I found my voice, my boundaries, my worth. I learned that protecting yourself isn't selfish.
Because what I learned is this: I didn't lose my family when I won the lottery. I lost the illusion of my family. And in its place, I found something real, something true, something mine. I found people who love me not for what I can give them, but for who I am. I found peace in my own decisions, even when they're hard. I found freedom from guilt that was never mine to carry. And I found that sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same thing. The money is still there, safely invested, slowly growing. I live modestly. I help people quietly. I don't tell anyone about it, because I learned that lesson well. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy truth. And sometimes truth is the most valuable thing you can win, even when winning feels like losing, even when the truth breaks your heart, even when seeing clearly means seeing things you wish you couldn't see.
I'm Anne. I'm 55 years old now. I'm retired. I'm alone in many ways. But I'm also free. Free from expectations I couldn't meet. Free from guilt I didn't earn. Free from people who loved me conditionally. And that freedom, that truth, that clarity, that's worth more than any lottery ticket. That's worth more than any amount of money. That's worth everything.